Welcome to the Cryptonomatron. I have another banging ICO for you. Yes, could this be better than Lambda, better than OneChain? Well, let's wait and see. This is going to have to be a short and brief video because I am busy. I've been trading, I've been investing in ICOs, I've been up to my neck in it, peeps. So bear with me. I'll try and rattle through this as quick as possible and give you a verdict. But this is Arcblock, and this is a blockchain 3.0. It's an ecosystem for building and deploying decentralized apps or dApps, and yeah, it looks like it could be a winner. So the Arcblock ecosystem will offer many of the features and more that the current crop of blockchain ecosystems built for developers will offer, but with a main focus on the decentralized applications. Now, as you can see here, you can build dApps on Lambda, which is the most recent ICO that is represented here, and that's where this infographic came from. You can also build them on Arc, Aeon, Icon, OneChain, Lisk, EOS, and Dragon Chain, as well as some others. And then there are several differences between the current crop of competition. There are quite a lot. I'll explain a little bit more about the differences with Arcblock in the upcoming blockchain and tech sections. But they are aiming for a transactions per second speed of 100,000 transactions per second. So that would be 10 times what Lambda is currently trying to get. So it's going to be faster than everything except EOS. And as we know, EOS currently still does not have a working product per se. They are in the process of developing. It's still at the lengthy ICO stage. So it'll be interesting to see which one of these ecosystems actually gets the most business and becomes the most dominant in the future. So the problems that they're trying to tackle are the general problems with the current blockchain technology. So it's still in its infancy, and as such, we still have several challenges to conquer, and they include poor performance. Now, as you know, Ethereum is very, very slow. They mentioned CryptoKitties, and if you're familiar with CryptoKitties, I'm sure many of you are, it actually slowed the Ethereum network down to a crawl and increased the transaction fees exponentially. So scalability is a problem for Ethereum. We need the performance to match however many users are going to be using the platform in the future. The other issue is it's not consumer friendly. So today's blockchain applications are built for the techies and the geeks out there and who know how to use them rather than the mainstream consumer. It's not easy to get into using some of them, and even stuff like MetaMask wallet, which for us cryptocurrency enthusiasts is fairly easy to use, but for the normal Joe Blogs on the street, might not be as easy, and certainly not intuitive enough for them to get mass adopted. So that's another issue. One more problem that they're trying to solve is the high cost of using blockchain technology. And of course, that's going to be a problem to mainstream adoption. Developers cost a lot of money. Setting up a blockchain is an expensive process, and having a platform like this will help that to a degree. And also the other issue is platform lock-in, and that means if you decide to build an app on a platform, you're basically locked into that particular platform, be it Ethereum, Lambda, Dragon Chain, whatever platform you use, you'll be locked in for the lifespan of the app. So they can't cross multiple platforms, which is another issue. So Arcblock are looking to allow use among many different platforms. And the other issue is the lack of features. So as they explain here, people have high expectations for blockchain, but they are limited in the features that they can provide. They don't have a mechanism to encourage the community to contribute to the stacks, the feature stacks, and build more features on the back of them. So by their very nature, blockchain protocols are very easy to fork, and all people are doing is basically forking the blockchain, building a new version of the blockchain with maybe some added features, and not improving on the already existing technology. So they see that as an issue as well. So what are their aims? Well, it sums it up quite concisely in the overview. Arcblock is a platform and an ecosystem for building and deploying decentralized blockchain applications. The platform goes beyond providing the necessary foundational components for using blockchain to power complex business rules. It connects your existing system to blockchain networks, enabling you to automate business processes using the data and identities associated with existing systems. So Arcblock's primary goal is to remove the barriers that have slowed blockchain adoption among the general public. They are also passionate about developing unique approaches that will significantly advance blockchain development. So as to the market for blockchain, we know it's in the multi-billion dollars now, and it's set to grow into the future. However, if you Google blockchain market potential or another phrase, another similar phrase, you're going to get a lot of articles ranging from $5 billion by 2020 to this article here, which mentions $45 billion by the year 2027. And then there's this article, which is the most optimistic of the ones on the first page of Google, and that says the blockchain tech market could reach 10 trillion US dollar value in 15 years, and that's from an analysis by the Royal Bank of Canada capital markets analyst Mitch Steves. And I wouldn't say he's far wrong in this. Now, I'll leave a link to a couple of articles below, including this one, where it is discussed about blockchain technology being one of the biggest technological advances for mankind in certainly in the 21st century. This is going to change the world. It already is, not just the banking system or the economic system. It could potentially have implications for the way the human race advances from now on in. I mean, it really is groundbreaking and unprecedented. So I am very optimistic about the market of blockchain and what the technology means for the future. So I would consider any investment in a blockchain dApp building platform such as Arcblock to be a very, very wise investment indeed going forward, especially if it introduces new features and tackles some of the real problems that we've discussed by improving the technology at its root. So we discussed the problems earlier. Now Arcblock wants to solve the problems through the revolutionary new design. So unlike predecessors, Arcblock is a platform service rather than a standalone software package or set of APIs. Arcblock is a comprehensive solution that combines blockchain technology with cloud computing. So Arcblock is an incentive-driven marketplace for reusable services, components, and even apps. Miners in Arcblock platform not only bring computing resources, moreover they help to build the platform together by providing reusable components, new services, and even ready-to-deploy applications. People who contributed resources or services will be rewarded with tokens to form a positive, self-growing platform that continues to evolve on its own. The Arcblock platform service isn't our creation alone, they say. It's developed by the entire Arcblock community. They're just kickstarting a new blockchain revolution. So they're taking the blockchain platform a stage further by implementing cloud computing with it, and also allowing an incentive-driven marketplace for people to add value to the platform and also get rewarded for doing so. They're also going to introduce this thing called the Open Chain Access Protocol, which is enabled open connectivity over multiple blockchain protocols, again tackling the problem that we described earlier of being locked into a single platform. So developers will now have the freedom to evaluate blockchain protocols and even switch back and forth between which one is best for whatever activity they're providing. So the Open Chain Access Protocol makes it easy to implement new blockchains as the technology evolves. It will eliminate the platform lock-in issue and enables applications to run on multiple blockchain fabrics, vastly improving the developer and user experiences. Now, if they can achieve this, this will be a game changer in the way blockchain developers can operate. So another feature is the blocklet. It's a revolutionary component that takes advantage of the latest microservice architecture and serverless computing technology. So again, you don't need to store your data on a server. It's decentralized, it's spread out in the cloud. The blocklet is a high-level application protocol that can be implemented with any platform or language, and it leverages the full capacity of the native platform and offers the same level of performance, rather than running on a low-performing virtual machine. So it does more than access a blockchain. It connects to any existing data source and performs both on-chain and off-chain computing. And their design aims to provide a high-performance, user-friendly, cost-efficient, and protocol-agnostic platform. They believe the Arcblock represents a major technological advance that will usher in the 3.0 generation of blockchain apps. And as we can see with this infographic here, the first blockchain obviously with simple ledgers that were recording transactions, Bitcoin being the first, then 2.0 with smart contracts being introduced to the Ethereum platform, and then 3.0 with the cloud node, open chain access, the blocklet for communication, and the incentive for self-evolution to the miners. And that, they claim, will be Arcblock. So on to the tech now. Well, they will optimize for the best experience. They will have a top-down strategy that focuses on UX rather than just getting the job done. And that will improve the developer experience. You won't have to deal with the low-level blockchain protocols. They'll all be provided for you. You won't have to run local blockchain test nodes to start developing and testing your apps. It's built specifically for the cloud. It's designed to run natively there. It can also run on a single computer. It's built with an open standard, so they will have all their core components open source, available for further development to whoever wants to access them. And their architecture is scalable, extensible, they say, and easy to use, which everything sounds great so far. So without going into too much detail in the technology, you can read the white paper yourself. There's quite a lot of good information in there. The design principles of the architecture is as follows. The user experience will come first. Performance obviously matters. They're looking for a speed of up to 100,000 transactions per second. The system will be built on an open standard, and the system will build upon an incentive-driven economy. As I mentioned before, if you are a miner or you are contributing to the development, then you will be rewarded with the Arc tokens. And you can see the architecture here, the overview of the Arcblock stack. You have the apps and desktop apps and mobile apps on the top level, then the decentralized gateway, then the blocklets, which is the contract and the account, essentially communicating with the different blockchains. And then you have the open chain access layer, the Ethereum adapter, and the Interledger adapter there that work with the Ethereum blockchain and the Hyperledger blockchain that they will be implementing. So very interesting and could be potentially groundbreaking technology they intend to implement here. So the token use is quite extensive within Arcblock. The Arcblock token, or ABT, will be native to the Arcblock platform. They are building a blockchain that can process up to 100,000 transactions a second, as I mentioned before, and the Arc token is a general purpose token that will be used in various different scenarios. So within the Arcblock, the ARC's basic utility value is to pay for the costs of using the Arcblock system. So like a cloud computing service, the Arc is a utility token for paying the cost associated with using the service. So unlike Ethereum or Bitcoin, There won't be fees. The Arcblock is designed to let the application providers pay the transaction fees for the end users. So this will improve the user experience. They will also request that developers lock in a number of the ARC tokens as a stake when they need to provide mission critical services. So they will map the tokens to the ERC Ethereum platform one-to-one. This will simplify the token exchanges and will allow developers to tie in with the Ethereum community. Quite a clever thing there, because as we know, the ERC20 token is the most common, and also the Ethereum platform is the most used to build dApps on top of. So it stands to reason that you want to align yourself with the most popular market leader. So that's quite a clever strategy from them. Now, there will be miners, obviously. There will be several different miners. The first of them will be the resource miners. And what essentially they're doing is allowing contributing computing resources to the system. So if they provide cloud computing or storage services, or run as a cloud node, or contribute self-hosted computing resources, they will be rewarded in turn. Also, component miners, if they contribute software components to the system, such as new chain adapters, blocklet components, ready to deploy apps, then they will also be eligible for a reward. So there will be a marketplace as well. It will be a decentralized app, or a dApp, built on the Arcblock platform. It will serve as a marketplace for listing, searching, evaluating, using and ranking reusable components such as the aforementioned chain adapters, blocklets and applications. So the marketplace will also be responsible for maintaining feedback about the quality of components and the rep of their developers. There will be a token foundation service, and the Arcblock token is implemented entirely with a blocklet. The token foundation service is also powered by blocklets, and the token economy service consists of a group of blocklet building blocks. App developers can use blocklet to easily handle events triggered by tokens and accomplish complex business logic. The application tokens, you'll be able to eventually run your own ICO. You'll be able to have your own token that's based on the Arcblock platform, and you can tokenize anything you want within your application. So the possibility for this is quite extensive. If you want to apply blockchain technology to your business going forward, you can eventually you'll be able to run an ICO, have your own token that interacts on your own ecosystem based on this platform. Okay, onto the token sale now. There will be a total volume of 186 million ABT. There will be a finite amount of ABT created. There's no inflation, obviously, as it's a finite amount. All tokens are pre-minted. There'll be no mining for them. The maximum token amount for the sale will be 45%, which is about 83 million, I believe. Marketing and partner support will get 8%. And there will be a bounty campaign comprising, getting my tongue twisted this morning. The bounty campaign will be 1%. The labs team will get 15%. The community rewards, which essentially are the miners, will be reserved 32%. The soft cap will be 12,000 Ethereum. The hard cap, 37,500 Ethereum, and 6 million Cyber Miles tokens. So the maximum for private sale will be 25,000 Ether, and the maximum for public sale will be 12,500 Ether and 6 million Cyber Miles. So the only way you can pay in the private sale will be Ethereum, and the only way you can pay in the public sale will be Ethereum and Cyber Miles. So the private sale, KYC was required. You would have had to sign up already. You're too late to take part if you're not already signed up. That starts today at 7 p.m. CST. I think that's China Central Time. And 1 Ether will equal 2,052 ABT. The minimum investment amount is 150 Ether, maximum 3,000 Ether. And the private sale hard cap, as mentioned, is 25,000 Ether. Moving on to the public sale, they will announce the whitelisting and KYC in due course. So pay attention to their website. It will begin on February the 3rd at 7 p.m. CST and end on February the 10th, 2018. I don't think it will make it that far. I think it will sell out fairly quick given the low public sale hard cap of 12,500 Ether and 6 million cyber miles. 1 Ether will equal 1,900 ABT, so slightly more expensive than the private sale. Minimum investment will be 0.1 of an Ether. Maximum investment will be 50 Ether. So 1 cyber miles will be calculated. The rate will be calculated and locked in just before the public sale, and it will be disclosed on the website. So no need to worry there if you want to pay in cyber miles. What I will say here is that the tokens are more expensive than I would like, but still fairly low considering the overall total supply, and the circulatory supply will be less than that. So you've got 186 million tokens total, and the individual token price at public sale will be around 60 to 64 cents, going with an Ethereum price today of around $1,180. Let's briefly look at the bounty campaign. Bounty campaign has started. The details are, as usual, on Bitcoin Talk forum. The details are all included in the thread. As you can see here, they are taking 1% of the ABT tokens, so there will be 200,000 stakes. The tokens will be distributed in 8 different campaigns that are outlined here. There will be a Bitcoin Talk signature campaign and referral, which is 23%. There will be a content campaign, 16%, a Twitter bounty of 14%, a Reddit bounty of 8%, translation of 7%, Facebook bounty of 14%, Instagram bounty of 8%, LinkedIn bounty of 8%. It's interesting, you don't normally get a LinkedIn bounty, certainly not in most of the bounty campaigns that I've looked at this year, and a moderation bounty of 2% if you're actually active in moderating on their social media platforms. As per usual, there are a lot of terms and conditions and things you have to comply with. You can go on their Telegram group for more information. And it's currently running, so if you want to take part in the bounty campaign, please rush over there and do so. So the roadmap begins back in Q1 2017, where they developed the concept. The proof of concept was done, and the prototype development of the decentralized pub sub gateway was done, and then there was in Q2 the design and implementation of some of the gateway and associated technology. The proof of concept and prototype development with Ethereum and Blocklet was also done. Moving forward, Q3 last year, was the design and implement of the mobile and web clients with the gateway. Then the design of the Blocklet architecture and open chain access protocol was done. In Q4 last year, they developed the architecture for the token design functionality and the token economy service, and they implemented the Ethereum adapter with open chain access protocol, and they completed the prototype for the first end-to-end app built on top of the Arcblock platform. Q1 this year will see the first group of funding clients that will be powered by Arcblock. So some of the first dApps will emerge. Then there will be the token sale event, which we are discussing at the moment. Then Q2 this year, they will launch the first decentralized consumer app built on the Arcblock with development partners. They will also implement the Hyperledger adapter as well as the Ethereum one with the open chain access protocol. Tokens launch in the exchanges as well, so you'll be able to trade in your tokens if you get in the ICO. And Q3 we'll see the first public release candidate for the open chain access protocol. We will also see the open source software becoming available and its reference implemented on Ethereum and the Hyperledger blockchains. We will see in Q4 the official release of the open chain access protocol and adapters for Ethereum and Hyperledger. And we will also see the full Arcblock platform ready for clients and partners. Platform will open to the general public Q4 2018. Going into 2019, widespread developments with more partners and developers, and the first DevCon for the Arcblock developers. So a very interesting and detailed roadmap going forward to 2019. But they also have a 5-year plan, as we can see here, which starts in 2008 right the way through to 2022. 2018 will see the first decentralized apps built on the platform. They will launch the open chain access protocol with Ethereum and Hyperledger blockchains. 2019 will be the public launch, and more decentralized apps being built, as well as the decentralized marketplace for the Arcblock dApps and the tokens. 2020 will see public launch for Internet of Things, smart home and smart city app support. Then there'll be a lot of other things implemented over the next 3 years, but they're quite far off, so I don't think we need to troll through them here. As we can see, they have their work cut out for them, and they have illustrated how they're going to go forward right far into the future, 5 years down the line. So a quick look at the team then. Robert Mao is the CEO and Chief Architect. Flavien Charlon is the Chief Scientist. Jean Chen is the VP of Marketing, and Joe Wallen is the Legal Counsel. They are the top tier team. And then they have a few other advisors and investors as well. We have Ding Lei there, who's the founder and CEO of NetEase. We have Salman Dani, who's the co-founder, co-president of Telenav Automotive Business Unit. Justin Tombulian, who's the VP of Liquid Hub and CIO of Microsoft Japan. Very interesting. Interesting to note both Robert Mao and Flavien, the Chief Scientist and Chief Architect, used to work for Microsoft in a previous life. So there's a big, strong Microsoft connection between all of these guys, and their platforms are built on some of the Microsoft technology, I believe. Microsoft Azure is mentioned in the white paper, and the devs seem to be very, very familiar with that technology. Mike Cartwright is CTO of Digital Town, also Vice President of Expedia, a company you might have heard of. Lawrence Lerner, blockchain realist and digital strategist, and then followed by these four here, who are all investors, it looks like. So a fairly strong team, not the strongest team that I've looked at. If we look at Robert's LinkedIn very briefly, he went to the China-Europe International Business School. He seems to be living in Seattle, used to work in Dublin, hence his connection to Flavien, I think. And he was a co-founder and CEO at Pixel Mobile before, and that is a suite of mobile apps and services to help users create, manage, consume, and share their life moments, apparently. Very interesting. And as I said, here's the Microsoft connection. Microsoft Research Software Development Engineer. And if we look at Flavien here, he is the co-founder and CTO of Trezio. So Trezio provides financial stability for freelancers, turns freelancers' unpredictable income into regular payments. He was founder and CEO at CoinPrism, another blockchain technology startup. And again, software development engineer for Windows Azure, Microsoft in Ireland. As far as partners are concerned, they have an extensive network of partnerships. Linux Foundation, Hyperledger, obviously we discussed how they're going to implement Hyperledger into their platform. And they are also partnered with, most importantly, I would imagine for most investors, will be IBM and SAP at the bottom. So they've got two very heavy hitters on their partnerships, and that will certainly give investors enthusiasm to get involved with this project. IBM, with their Hyperledger blockchain technology, don't just get into bed with anybody. They are very selective over who they do business with and who they allow to develop on their technology. So it'll be interesting to see how the partnership moves forward there. And they're also partnered with CyberMiles, as I mentioned before in the crowd sale section, that you'll be eligible if you desire to pay in CyberMiles or CMT, you can do so in the public sale, and there will be a cap of 6 million CyberMiles for those investing. Onto the community now, and as you can see, they've been featured in a lot of media, including HuffPost, CoinDesk, and several Asian publications there, as well as TechCrunch and Bitcoin Magazine. They have social media on Telegram, Bitcoin Talk, Forum, GitHub, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Reddit, and also on LinkedIn. And if we look at their Twitter account, they have 3,840 followers, which isn't bad. Hype in this ICO is growing rapidly. And they also have 14,060 members on their Telegram group. So community support is very high. They have been doing regular postings on all the social media. Go and check them out if you want to. But I would say this has got good community support, a lot of hype behind it, and that's good. Now for the part you've all been waiting for, the verdict. And first off, the positives. Now, what did I see in this ICO? Well, the first thing that I noticed was this has groundbreaking technology. They have the cross-chain access protocol, which effectively will allow your applications to work on multiple blockchains. This has never been done before. This is a groundbreaking and new technology. So if they can implement this, it could be game-changing. Really, it really could. The second thing I liked about it is the white paper was very detailed, and it was concise and clear, easy to understand. And also, they have a very good roadmap, also detailed, right up with the 5-year plan going into 2022. The third thing that's a positive here is it solves real blockchain problems. Now, we're always going on about scalability being an issue, especially for Ethereum and Bitcoin. Well, this, to a degree, solves those problems. With the increased transaction speeds, the scalability issue is somewhat solved, and also the fees, meaning it's going to be free to transact within the ecosystem. It does really address a lot of the problems and complaints that users have over the current blockchain technology. Number 4, it allows work on multiple blockchains. Again, going back to the groundbreaking technology in point 1, the fact that this works on multiple blockchains means you're not stuck to one, locked into one blockchain technology. So if you are building on the Ethereum blockchain, for example, you can't switch to another one. If you build on the Arcblock, you can easily implement it on another blockchain. Number 5, this has the real potential to become the market leader. If they can implement what they say they're going to do, then this could be the leader because it does everything better than the other blockchains. Another positive about this, going into the token sale, is the low token supply. 186 million is absolutely nothing for a project of this scale. The circulating supply potentially could be around 85 million when it hits the exchanges. Therefore, the token supply is a very positive thing about this ICO. Number 7, the token price is fairly low given supply. Now, we worked it out earlier, it was about 62, 64 cents. It may change with the price of Ethereum, but that is still fairly low given the supply and given the nature of this project. This could easily achieve large gains. It has a relatively low hard cap of 37,500 Ethereum. I know I laugh at that because that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money indeed, but that's relatively low again for a project of this magnitude. If they can implement, there is potential for a lot of gains here. Number 9, they do have good community support. They've got a lot of people on Telegram. There's a lot of discussion going on about this now, and support is very good. Number 10, they have a multi-billion market potential. As I discussed earlier, the market for blockchain technology will rise to be in the trillions in the next decade, and this could be positioned right at the right time to take advantage of that. Number 11, they have very strong partnerships with IBM and SAP. And number 12, final positive, they have a competent team and advisory body. They're not the most all-star team that I've seen, but they are competent at what they do, and I don't have any major doubts over their abilities or their ability to implement the technology. So moving on to the negatives, and now there are a few on this ICO, so let's go through them one by one. Number one, and this is another thing I don't like ICOs doing, and I will stand on my high horse now and say this unreservedly, that ICOs were designed for the man on the street, i.e. me, you, the small investor, the non-accredited investor, the person with a little bit of money but not mega bucks, to get in and buy or invest in new technology and new companies. Now they are allowing only bigger investors with 150 Ethereum to 3,000 Ethereum to get the largest piece of the pie, 25,000 Ethereum's worth. Of the tokens at a pre-sale. I don't agree with this. I don't like it. It marginalizes the small investor, which is the antithesis of what the ICO was created for. So that is a negative for me whenever I see this. Number two, there's not much hype behind this one. Now, despite the community support and despite the magnitude and the prospects for this project, there isn't much hype about it. I didn't know about this ICO until a few days ago, and you know, this should have been one of the ones that was on my radar immediately, given the given the benefits that this could bring to the blockchain platform technology market. Where's the hype? It's odd to me, but there wasn't enough hype behind it. Number three, the competition is very fierce within this space. You know, we've got all these different platforms now, all competing for a piece of the pie. Not all of them will succeed. The best technology may not succeed. It will be a dogfight until the very end. There will be a few left standing, but not all of them will survive, in my opinion. So that's a negative here. You've got to expect that some of the more inferior technologies may actually win the battle through marketing, community support, that type of thing. So don't expect the one with the best technology to be standing at the end. Number four is ambitious plans, and they're not going to be easy to implement. So the more ambitious your project is, the more difficult it's going to be to implement and achieve it. And that is a negative. In so much as an investor, if you had a unique idea that was relatively easy to implement, you could realize your potential a lot quicker. Whereas with this project, it's very ambitious. It's going to be hard to implement it. I'm sure they will succeed eventually, but it's not going to be easy down the line. So what do I think? What's my verdict on this ICO? Well, I think it's an essential ICO to participate in. I think it's one of the best so far this year. I'm certainly going to participate. And as such, I'm going to give it 4.5 stars out of 5. Now, it loses half a star because of its team not being of the all-star variety. It's still very, very good and very competent, but not all-star. And because of the pre-sale benefits to bigger investors. I don't like that, and as I say, that's why I struck off half a star. Other than that, I'm very bullish on this project. I hope you are too. So as ever, this is a completely impartial review. I've had people asking me on Twitter. I will reiterate yet again, I do not accept payment for any reviews that I do. I don't get paid for them. I do not get sponsored. I do not accept sponsorships for any of the reviews I do, and I will not accept sponsorship for reviews. So please don't bother asking me, because I won't do it. If I take sponsorship, there will be the impression that I have a bias, and potentially, if I expose your product or your ICO as garbage, you won't be very happy with me. So I don't do paid reviews. Please stop asking me. I don't do them, and I won't do them in the future. These are all my own opinion. They're not investment advice, guys, so please don't take them as investment advice. These are just my opinions, okay? I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. If you're going to invest in an ICO, be aware of the risks. It is a risky venture for most of the time, and invest with caution, invest wisely. Only risk what you can afford to lose. Don't invest too much, and that's it. That's the Arcblock review done then, guys. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, as usual, press like, press subscribe. The channel's growing now. We're getting near 3,000 subscribers, and that's fantastic. I do appreciate your support. I wish I had time to do a video every day. It would please me greatly if I did, because there's so many good projects out there that I want to tell you guys about. This is a fantastic one. I hope you get involved in it. It's certainly worth participating in my opinion. I will be, as I said. And I won't be around for another 3 or 4 days, so you'll need to wait on the next video. If you have an ICO you want me to review, or a token you want me to look at in more detail, please post in the comments below. Let me know what you think about Arcblock, and are you getting involved? Are you going to invest? Let us know in the comments. And I'll be back probably around Tuesday or Wednesday with another video. Sorry for the interlude, but I have a lot of stuff to do over the next few days, and it will be impossible for me to upload any more content. So hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll catch you on Wednesday.